tentatively. Make sure you're not having anything embarrassing on that camera there, Frig.
I do not.
Alright, excellent.
I don't think
I just need to like turn the video on because I've never actually done that. How do I start the video?
Let me tweet out. We're going live.
Oh, yeah, we're very live right now.
There we go. So I'm at a weird fucking angle because like the screen I see you guys on is like almost behind me. I have to like move over here.
But look at us. Oh, there's towels on my bed and everything.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna move my camera.
I actually had to move my seat down. Like the one place I found to hang my camera is just like fucked up.
Oh my gosh! You know why it's so shiny, guys? There's still
'Cause,
plastic.
yeah,
There's still plastic
shit
on
on.
it. I think the plastic cover is still on it. I hope it's not just like this. That would be.
I probably moved my screen like so over the camera, so I'm looking at like everyone like a normal human being, but I do not want to rearrange more than I have to. But at least you guys get to see cute owls and shit. I don't know.
I gotta sit crisscross applesauce, get the blood flowing.
Whatever works, man. It's all stuff.
Hello.
And that's just the house
You
falling
can still
apart.
hear
Don't
me.
mind me.
It would appear that all of my front USBs are scuffed right now.
Mm-hmm.
All the USBs on your PC are scuffed on the front?
All the front ones. Hold on. I've got like 8 in the back. Don't worry.
8 in the back. Room in the back for some USBs.
Yep.
Like a Subaru.
Don't watch me. You can't.
They just buy like a 20 port like USB hub or some shit like that.
That'd be hilarious. All right, time to find out.
Honestly, one of the best things I ever bought was one of those like just a USB port, and it adds like 4 more ports because it's great when I bring my rival setup to tournaments.
Oh yeah, because you just fucking
have like 3 USB ports.
Yeah, the only thing about
using a
those
different controller, it messes everything up.
Yeah, I had a friend who had one of those. He would use it to set up like Game Beast and stuff in like our dorm room in college. It's like the only thing annoying about those is if they get scuffed enough that they just start doubling inputs. Because yeah, actually, I think something similar happened.
Alright guys, we're going to be starting up in just a second. I'm going to let the fellas know they can hop in the main chat. Also, my camera isn't working for some reason, and I have no idea why. So I might just be camless. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, there you go. Okay,
yeah,
you made it.
I was getting there.
Yeggy should be a guest, so he should be able to...
Again.
Oh,
all right,
I didn't know I had to become a speaker myself.
Oh, I don't know if we can do cameras with speakers. Oh, man. You know what?
Yeah,
we may just
no camera mode.
You know what? We're just gonna be backstage this time.
Just backstage, no listeners.
We're backstaging it right now.
All right, backstage.
All right. If everyone can hear us, this is
I mean, like we have the
first
thing on the main channel for like where we usually do it, but I'm surprised we don't just have like a general voice chat on top of that.
Yeah, well, hold on. Several things are going on right now on the stream.
Yeah, you could always just like make a general voice channel and then just mute anybody that's not us.
Yeah.
Okay. I see you guys.
I mean, that's what the WROA, that's what the room we were sitting in
right,
already does.
I want to let it be known that we're gonna have to change the layout if we're gonna do cameras because right now you guys are inside of a box.
Oh hell yeah.
All right. Anyway, I guess welcome to the show. I'm gonna be cameraless until I can figure out my camera. But until then, I want to welcome this week question mark. This week's guest, Yeggy,
Yeah.
the Elliana extraordinaire, putting up good results, pretty much, over the past pandemic, as it were.
Mhm.
Um, you're what, number one in Ohio still rocking that number one.
Yeah.
That's
I've pretty much been number one since I moved here,
hmm
essentially, which was
Did,
like a year and a half ago.
cool.
Um,
Did you
Very
interact with
nice.
but
Cruz at all? Cruz was the previous number one, right?
I've only played Cruz once, and it went game 5, and he won. But that was like an online raster, long time ago.
I see.
But just it's a lot of the time like Cruz would probably be number one, but it just didn't enter enough events. Uh, but I don't know. Nowadays, I think I would probably put up a good fight against Cruz. I think he outplaced me at Riptide.
Right.
He outplaced Tanko and I by like one spot. I think Tanko and I both got 33rd, and he got
Nice.
25th.
Nice.
I want to be sure about that.
I had the opportunity to get there, but I ran into two people who were it was a coin flip who I would have beat. Um, my round one was Wisp, who is the number one ranked clan for like ever now, because he SQ'd last stock, and then it was right into Cyberhex Maniac, and then into Collard Greens, and either of those people could have beat me, and they did, which is very unfortunate. But I'm real happy I got 65th at my first in-person event, so I'll take it.
It,
You know, Rivals Majors, they just have so much talent at them, and it's so scary. Just like round 2, you could be fighting just like someone that is number one in their region out of nowhere.
yeah,
Riptide had so much talent at it; it was insane. Um,
Yeah, I'm not upset at all about getting 65th, the most stacked event probably ever in person,
yeah,
yeah.
unless you
That
count
and Heat Wave
Skyline.
were very, very stacked.
Yeah.
Just rivals majors in general. So like,
yeah. I'm
because
sad
everyone wanted to
I
go
didn't
out to
get to
them,
a
so everyone was there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it says Leo is a bit quieter. Thank you, Envy, for letting me know. I'm gonna turn myself up then.
I should
Brazil
probably
episode
pull
one.
you up
We
on
can do a
so I can do
Brazil.
chat too.
We can do a Brazil episode as soon as I start learning Portuguese on Duolingo. I want to welcome fellow Eliana players, Envy and Synthesis to the stream. Thank you guys for hanging out in chat. Um,
Let's go, Ellie
yeah.
reps.
Anyway, I mean, let's start off with the Eliana questions. Obviously, question number one: what does it feel like to play a character that is so controversial? And that is the start of controversial is a small word, you know.
You know, I feel like Eliana's less controversial now because of the 4 new characters that just
Yeah,
came out. So
absolutely.
Eliana can kind of just fly under the radar, but she's still probably just as DLC as the rest of them. Um,
Yeah, she hasn't gotten her
but
patch though. I'm waiting for that.
honestly,
Yep.
I play Eliana because she's a lot of fun. I don't really play Eliana because like she's getting me wins or anything. It's just
hmm
I've never really played a character like her where you can literally fly around.
Yeah.
And she plays an entirely different game, I feel.
Right. She
That's
Um,
the best way to play rivals. Just play it to find a character you vibe with and fuck
yeah.
around with them.
yeah, she definitely breaks a lot of the rules that the game has in place, right?
Yeah, and I feel like her playstyle is just very explosive. Like she has a very high punish game ceiling, and it's just you have to find those opportunities and grasp them and just go take a mile whenever they give you an inch.
hmm
And that's kind of the playstyle that I've always enjoyed. And just finding those small openings and
Yeah,
pushing it as
absolutely.
far as you can take it.
Definitely well, would you consider Eliana to be a glass cannon? That kind of archetype? Is that the kind of thing you're going for? Because you go an inch, take a mile, but she also eats shit, right?
If you asked me that like when I first started playing Eliana, I would agree with you. But I feel Eliana's disadvantage is slept on a lot just because she has missile reversals, she's
Hey,
heavy, and she's floaty. So a lot of the times when she's at low percent, she can just DI out of a lot of combos. And she doesn't really lose a jump either because she can fly.
Yeah.
So a lot of characters that like you catch someone's jump, you're not really quite sure if you caught Elliana's jump because she always has one, unless she's in an overheat. Which
Yeah.
overheat,
Smash
yeah,
guy
is
in
kind of
chat
a
just
pretty
mentioned
bad
that.
Yeah, unless you
disadvantage
forget
trait for
about
her.
her third jump.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But even then, like you can mix up with down strong, and that's kind of like another jump. And overheat, a lot of the time you don't want to like commit too hard because Eliana could just up B under a platform, and the next thing you know, you're getting comboed because you tried to hit her while she was in overheat. So it's like it's a lot of mind games. But most of the time, like if you knock someone off stage, you just get rid of the overheat and you reset because a lot of matchups are determined by how long you spend in overheat. Because if your opponent knows what they're doing and they see you in overheat and they know how to put you in overheat consistently,
Mhm.
then you're going to be at a worse disadvantage state more often than not.
Right. It's another one of those, thinking one step ahead of your opponent is one of the most
Yeah,
important things you can do. And it's so hard to think about all the time, right? Because,
Yeah.
not only, Edalus has some of the best edge guarding in the game, but, Eliana, the rule breaker, goes ahead and flies around with my fucking edge guarding tool. And I have to think,
yeah.
Mhm.
how can I force Eliana to come on down into my loving arms?
It's like,
So
look,
you're
to,
asking how to edge guard Eliana essentially when she's not in overheat?
I mean, I figured it out. I'm just saying that it's important to think about the kind of situation for you have a dedicated option, but what your opponent it's one thing to like look at what your opponent is doing and react, and another thing to know what your opponent is already going to do.
Yeah.
In the case of like covering options like eject, because Edalus can do that very well, right?
Yeah. Well,
uh,
Ellis has the best edge guard in the game, and honestly, if you're putting it like off stage against Ellis, is probably one of the worst things for Eliana.
hmm
Just because Icicles covers high, Ellis can chase you up high if you really wanted to, even though it's a little risky. But
I've done my fair bit of chasing before.
yeah,
mhm.
but that matchup is so volatile because Eliana can do the same thing to Edalis. So it's like the neutral interactions are so important between both those characters because like as soon as the other is put off stage, that could just be the stock.
hmm
Just rinse and repeat until the stock is gone.
Absolutely.
And that could be right from 0%, honestly.
We've definitely played enough to where that's happened. I mean,
Yeah.
say you might take the game, but I get my little cheese in. Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
Every character has their little thing against Eliana, right? Like out of eject, Edalus can kill you at 0, right, with up air. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
If I catch you, it's over. But if you get me without my air dodge, it's also, it's curtains. So
And like I've played against Tanko a ton at this point because he's an Ohio player and he's been on the
mm,
come up. If you get the chance to play Tanko, play Tanko. He's really,
Tango,
really
yeah.
good, and he's only like
I,
12 or something,
He's
so it's kind of cool.
13. The first time I played Tanko, I thought it was a joke
mm-hmm.
because
Franco's
I
mad stuff. And
I
holy
I
cow.
played him like after a ras, and he hits me up and he's like, "Hey, hey, do you want to play? Are you like good at Endless?" I'm like, "I don't know. Am I?" And I play, and he like we're going even. And then he starts like beating my ass. I'm like, "What? Did someone like send a little child to prank me or something?" I don't know.
Yeah.
Kid's just got a lot of he's learned a lot of things. Welcome the Brazilian guy who says the dollar. That's correct. The dollar.
Um, it's
Mhm.
really funny because since nobody really knew who Tanko was, and he was just kind of known online, we tried to convince everybody that Sloppy Jalopy was
Oh,
also Tanko.
that shit was so fucking funny. So for those of you who don't
So like when
know,
when everyone thought Tanko was 12 years old and saw Sloppy Jalopy at Riptide, and we were telling everybody that he's Tanko, and Sloppy Jalopy is like this huge, like 6'2" muscular guy who's like
Mhm.
24.
yeah.
It
For
was
those
just
of you
really
who
funny
don't
seeing
know,
people's
Sloppy
reaction.
Jalopy is built like a brick,
Yeah, he's a
to say the
he's a whole
least.
brick house.
He's a little bit on the wide end, and Tenko is a very small white boy. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
it was really fucking funny for the first couple day or two at Riptide was hilarious.
Yeah,
All
shout out
right,
to Sloppy Jalopy. He's a homie.
absolutely.
Follow him
Oh
on
Shout
yeah.
outs to
Twitter.
the homie.
This
Fresh as fuck.
podcast loves sloppy.
That fucking Yu-Gi-Oh tweet was hilarious.
Yeah, I was one of the little D's.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
everyone got a little D.
it was like 80% got little D's.
And then what? Terra got called a furry. And
Yeah,
all right, so
that's a solid
moving
tweet.
on to
Good interaction farming.
you know, on the subject of Elliana being stupid and bullshit, and I hate her. What do you think about the workshop characters? Because to me, they were all like Elliana wrapped up in a different bow. You know.
I think the most respectable of them is Palm, which says a lot.
Are you saying
See,
that
like,
as like she's the most similar to Ellie, or just like she's bullshit, kind of,
she's the least
or like
bullshit, maybe,
the least bullshit?
and
I feel like
that
Palm
comes with
is
an
the least
asterisk too.
bullshit of the four.
Because I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Like,
I just
I mean, look at what she's stacked up against. You got Olympia, who's got no end leg on anything,
Oh
and
my
has the
god,
best projectile in the game.
the
Then
funniest
you have
thing ever.
Malo, who's got crazy wave dashing. Like Malo's wave dash is so large,
Is
it
it?
is insane. And the
good
grenades are
boxing
wild.
tools too. Like a zoner with
Oh my
those
god.
fucking normals. Yeah.
That was the first thing I complained about. Is that I got in with Edalus and I got boxed out by the fucking zoner and I got so mad.
Yeah.
Like I got F tilted center stage. Why am I getting edge guarded by bombs unfair? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, her dare is the real, or his dare is the real like killer
I
move.
actually have no idea what Mala's pronouns are.
Amalo's he him. Confirmed
Yes.
trans mask,
Okay.
trans rights, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's why I was confused. I didn't know.
Dude, listen, man, it's all good. Don't worry.
But yeah,
Anyway,
Malo's dare, if you get hit with dare off stage, they can just float above you and dare you again or fair, and it's such a crazy position to
Yeah,
be in. And the
and,
dare has
Yeah.
a huge hitbox.
Lua just said in our chat they can also just mash it out of shore hop. They can get two out in one shore hop.
Yeah.
some Luigi shit, honestly.
That is some Luigi shit on his
And then you
zoner.
have Hodan, which Hodan is self-explanatory.
Hodan
as
is
to why-
Oh, we love
self-explanatory.
Hodan.
Dude, honestly, I don't feel bad for Hodan. I think he's a funny monkey, and he should be allowed to be funny. He still feels great. Don't get me wrong, but seeing everyone dunk on LandCon for dropping Hodan immediately after the
It was
nerf.
so funny.
Yeah,
I thought
oh
that
my
was
god.
And
Hodan
it's like
feels terrible.
this fucking Terra afterwards is like, I haven't seen any Hodans online since he got nerfed. Crazy.
Crazy. I don't even bother getting to masters because I'm like, the character's gonna get nerfed, and then I'm not gonna have fun on ranked anymore.
Yeah. And it's like I got up to like just below diamonds, like, oh wait, no one's like actually trying against me anymore. This is kind of pointless.
Right.
And then I'll just play Hodan against like Beck whenever he wants the matchup experience, you know?
Right. And
Like that's honestly the better way to do it.
I got everybody to masters at this point, so I'm done with ranked.
You're done. You're out of
I'm
here.
done with ranked.
Hodan's my second best character. I just online it just confuses me so much because
especially against Olympia.
Oh my god.
There's
When
too
I
many
saw
Olympias online.
on the fucking update page for Rivals of Aether, it said in the patch it had the number 2 for Olympia's bear end lag. And it said 2 to 5.
Thank you, Smash Guy.
And it said 2 to 5. And it's just like, you know this, and you put this in the game, and you put Olympia Bear in the game with 2 frames of hitboxless actionable end lag. Ugh.
This has become a pet stream.
This has become a pet stream, and I would love to show you guys my cat, but my camera is fucked up at the moment, and I have no idea why.
You do have cats, don't you?
I have 3 cats. I used to have 4 Rip Hobbs, but he's with us in spirit, so I got 3 cats and a ghost, I guess.
Awesome.
Olympia mains get real pissed when they can't count their end lag on one hand anymore. Spitting, honestly, spitting. Yeah. Speaking of, has anyone been putting up like decent solo results with any of the workshop? Because I don't really keep up with the brackets. I know I see the go to sleep brackets once in a while.
For
the go to sleep brackets are kind of a meme.
It's
Palm,
of course. But
keep an eye on Mr. Mutton. Mr. Mutton has been playing a lot of Palm and getting some good results with them.
Right.
I think we need a Discord
For
command for the Discord,
We
or
fuck.
a Twitch command for Nightbot command for
Do
the
you know that
Discord.
I was trying to think of things, you know. I was trying to think of things to put in Nightbot, and that's a perfect one to do. So I'm just gonna grab a invite real quick, and I'm gonna shove it into the server.
but
Copy.
for the other characters, Plushy Panic has been the one for Hodan, I feel.
Yes, I've heard of Plushy
Mm-hmm.
Panic, and I hadn't heard of them before now, but I saw they snuck in that go to sleep when it was Edalus week, if I recall,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me because in my head Edalus beats Hodan, especially after the side B nerf. But what the fuck do I know, right?
For Malo, there's a couple. There's like Zora, there is Dakota. Um I'm probably missing a couple. And then for Olympia, there's like 40 of them because anybody can play Olympia.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the biggest one would probably be like Sego. I see Sego posting the most clips for
Probably,
Olympia.
yeah, Sego.
Mhm.
But Sego's been the workshop guy for a long time at this
Yeah.
point.
Right.
He was probably in the beta for all those characters as well.
Oh yeah.
Would not be surprised. All right. So, off the topic of workshop, did you play workshop like before? I know we played a couple times online. But is there anyone you would have preferred for workshop as opposed to before they got in?
Yes, actually.
Prepared answer.
So Leica, which
Right. Yes.
yeah, which was a very, very cool character in Workshop. I enjoyed them a lot. I was very sad that they weren't picked because I felt like they were just super interesting, and I get that like they can only pick one element for each, and it's hard to not pick Malo for fire,
Right.
but Leica would have been perfect for the um fire choice.
Yeah, I never got into playing her super deep, but I messed around with a lot of the characters in training mode and
No,
the oh no, no the mushroom thing is
no,
Michael
not the
Lich.
mushroom thing. Leica is like the fox
Yes, yes. I didn't
type character with the bow.
I didn't mess with her too much, but I saw her aesthetic was super cool, and I saw people killing from across the stage, and it was pretty great.
Yeah. The mushroom thing probably would have been a better Earth character than Olympia. Yeah, Michael Lick. Because I see plenty
Gonna
of
get in.
Yeah,
Everybody
so
loved Olympia. Everybody
true.
loved Tom too. I mean, all the picks were pretty obvious,
Yeah,
but
Tom and Hodan are great.
I
yeah,
love.
Olympia's
I
the only
mean,
one I'm iffy on. She's
Hodon
just
had
yeah.
the prepackaged lore, so
Yeah, exactly.
he was a
Like it
shoe in.
just cements right in.
Yeah. Hmm. So
If you want
what
your
about
workshop
NA?
character in the
What
game,
about
pander to Dan directly.
yo? Think about this, Yeggy. You do something funky with the random button. You press a button combination of the random button. Imagine if you could choose NA in this game. They snuck that character in. Wouldn't that be wild?
NA was really sick too, but NA is too weird. I feel
Really
um
interesting.
too weird of a character. I think there's a threshold where you can't just where there's the mechanics for the character are too much and like too much to keep track of
Hmm.
for someone to play against. And NA I feel is one of those. Despite I think the character is really cool. And I like
That's
the black hole mechanic and being able to chop them, and I like that it's an axolotl. And it
yeah.
has a skin that's RGB. It changes colors. Like it
That
just
shit
goes.
was so fire.
Yeah, it's like an RGB keyboard. It looked really cool. I think there needs to be more skins like that in the game, in the base game. I feel.
Oh yeah. More shifting colors and stuff like that because they're only limited to the arcade stuff.
If I
Yeah.
could make a custom color that changes between two colors, just like
That'd be
slowly,
sick.
that'd be really cool. Yeah, that
Yeah.
might be something they put in Rivals too, though. I don't know.
Yeah, that was like one of the first custom skins I tried making. It was just like an RBG Zetterburn where you had like the different color fires over a black body. It's like if only it would like flash across or something like that, you know? That'd be sick.
Yeah. There's a lot of workshop characters I enjoyed. There was a time where I was entering like the workshop brackets, um, and I played Olympia on a lot of those. Oh, suddenly Leo.
I didn't mean to scare you guys.
Suddenly,
So my camera's working again. All right, give me a second. Hold on, hold
Jump
on.
scare.
someone clip the jump scare.
Jewish person jump scare.
That's so funny.
All right, let me scale myself
The
down a bit.
Lester jump scare.
Honestly. All right. Anyway, moving on, Frig. If you got any questions, I'm just gonna fuck around with this stream for a bit.
So I guess we should probably keep this tradition going of asking our guests this very important question.
Oh
So,
man.
Yeggy, what's your favorite donut?
My favorite donut is an apple fritter.
Apple
An
fritter.
apple
Good
fritter. That's a really good
choice.
one.
Good
That is a
choice.
great choice.
The thing I don't like about donut places nowadays, especially the ones in the city by me, is they're always trying to do these wacky flavors. Like you got like a donut that's got maple syrup and bacon on it, or like a donut
Okay.
that's
All
got
right.
like
I'm partial
frosted
though.
Okay, maple
flakes on
syrup
it, or
and
I'm
bacon is a
partial.
good combination, but I see what you mean that it's overdone a little bit.
It
Like you
is.
just want a good old fashioned donut, right?
Just give me
I
a.
just want like a
Yeah.
good apple fritter. Like I don't know. There's a place in Ypsilanti, Michigan
Of course
called
there is.
Abe's,
Mhm.
and they have the best donuts probably ever. I and there's nothing like that around me here. And it's crazy because I live like in the city kind of east of Cleveland. And there's like anything I could possibly think of within under 5 minutes away from me. But not a donut place. There's
Really.
like a vegan donut place, which I haven't tried yet, but I'm not crazy about the menu. And then
Yeah.
there's another donut place that is like one of the ones I was complaining about with like trick cereal on the donut. Like it's a lot of cereals usually on a donut.
Yeah, it's
I
just
think that's
wasting
just kind of like
space.
a TikTok thing. It's like, oh, see
Yeah,
how easy
and
it is to make? You just pour out a bowl of cereal and whop with your donut.
I'm not crazy about it personally. I like basic donuts. I
Mhm.
most of the time I just like the basic thing for a lot of things.
I
Mm.
mean, yeah, as long
I'm
as
just
it's
a
made
basic
well,
person.
you know?
Except fighting game characters apparently.
Yeah, except fighting game
True.
characters. I have a very specific I think niche when it comes to fighting game characters that I enjoy, which is like characters that like have tools that they lay on the field to manipulate, like similar to like Elliana's Steam. When I played
Yeah, no.
Smash, I played
I would say
Bowser Jr.,
I would
so
say
he had
no
like the
wonder you
Mecha
had
Koopa.
that secondary Edalist then, right?
Yeah, just putting around. So, like set play shit.
Everyone can play Edalist. It's easy.
Yeah, you just dash tech.
Stash deck.
Ellis is just a lot of fun because you get that one hit and then you just like you do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
You
You
can,
get nair, fair, whatever, bear.
Yep.
shout outs to Halite who just does whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Uh,
Guys, and so man, now my camera's not working again. Oh, it is working. Okay, cool. Oh, it's just not in
it is
Discord. All right,
working. We
cool,
can't
cool.
see it on Discord. We
Because
can
I
only see
look
it
over
on
to my,
stream.
I look over this monitor and I see Discord with no face, and here's
Yep.
Streamlabs with face. It's whatever. All right. Anyway,
Um
so let's talk about the other half of the Giant Workshop update, which is the netcode. Oh boy, what a loaded netcode it is. What is your opinion on how the netcode is doing right now? Have you been playing much? Have you had
uh,
any complaints?
when rollback works, it feels great,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
but that's like 40% of the time, right? And
Yeah.
like it gets kind of frustrating to play the game when you can't even play like a best of 3 without it crashing
Yeah, that
like
was a hot fix
50%
a
of the
couple
time.
days ago. Game one was fine. Game two, like if you jabbed in the first couple frames, it would literally just crash. Reminds me
Yep.
of some Malo shit, honestly.
And
Yeah.
it's just like
Just
personally, I
game
feel
doesn't
like
like projectiles.
if you want like my honest opinion, my hot take is that the 4 characters probably shouldn't have come out for a definitive edition of a game.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's a definitive edition,
It
like there's like updates after a definitive edition, just it's like it feels weird,
it
right?
does
Yeah.
see
Because
what I think it is I think it's kind of like a okay, let's please be done with Rivals 1. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? They're trying to be like,
It's
okay, the ship has sailed, haha, definitive. Okay, let's just make sure the game works so we can put all of our hours into Rivals 2, honestly.
yeah,
yeah.
Because
and
if you, I don't know if how many people had seen this, but there is a forum post on, I believe, Smashboards from before the Rivals beta was out, to where something to the effect of Dan said that Rivals wasn't going to be the final product, that
Mm-hmm.
the sequel to Rivals was going to be like his magnum opus, so to speak. So I think
Yeah.
Rivals has, I don't want to say it's had its run, but I think we're reaching the point to where it doesn't feel special anymore. And
It's
not in a bad way, but
I get what you
the
mean.
the the, the competitive lifespan is getting to that point. The game's been out
Yeah.
for 5, 6 years. New updates come and go, but mostly you see the same players at the top. We have some exceptions. There are some players who just snap like that. Like Zaro came up all of a sudden online. Um, but it's happening less and less often, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I personally I love Rivals of Aether. I have almost 1,600 hours in the game, but I can say myself I'm fucking tired of getting hit by some things because of like game design. You know, when I trade with Rano, 99% of the time he is on the ground and I'm in the air and I'm Edalus. And it's weird stuff like that, just things that come with an inherent lack of shield to where like you can be in impossible positions to where like Edalus will like have had to use his air dodge to survive a situation and it's just like oops.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping a lot
Speaking
of
of
that.
shields, though.
Yeah, I'm hoping shields will add not, bullshit because some things will go through shield, but
Mm-hmm.
stuff like, depth. Like you hear when people talk about like main layer Project M, it's not about how fast it is or how good a character is. It's about, how many choices do you have, right? And with parry as your main defensive option, you're
Shield
limiting
just
your
inherently gives
choices.
you more defensive choices,
Yeah,
and it
shielding.
gives you more defensive death.
So
So Yeggy,
yeah, have you played much? Have you played much Smash in your time outside? I mean, obviously, most okay Bowser Jr. But how do you feel about Shield? Would it positively affect rivals? Would it negatively affect rivals?
I think how they implement shields will determine that. Because, like, I feel like there is a way they do shields and it just completely ruins the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, it's worse.
because, like, there's so many things to keep track of with shields. Like, you can have shield stun, which is what Smash uses a lot. Like, is there going to be shield stun on these shields? Well, how fast can you drop shield after you've put it up?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that I feel like all of those will really determine whether or not it's a good mechanic in the game. Like,
the rivals
personally,
characters
I,
have out of shield options.
I
Right.
like the ideas of parries, though I know parrying and rival is kind of, or parrying and rivals right now is kind of controversial because it,
There's like almost no reason to parry, like ever.
well, not only that, it encourages like mid-level players to just look for those parries,
Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh.
uh, which like
Yeah,
you can
it's a
tell, so
big
you can just
mid-level
walk up to
trap. That's like
someone
the
and then they
MSP thing.
parry, and then
I've been there.
Yeah,
I,
it's a learning curve. Like we've all been there. Like that's just part of the game. But like once you get to that point, it's like, oh, I can just dodge literally everything in this game on reaction. Okay, I don't need to like
right.
push. Like,
As
yeah.
I don't want to say I exactly plateaued, but I haven't exactly exploded with talent. And the thing that I caught most was I just I just don't have to parry. It's not necessary,
Mhm.
right? Something like a shield in Smash is so core to the gameplay. It's
Yeah,
like if you want to keep your ground or you want to prevent something from happening, you throw up your shield, right? And I just don't think parry as it is does like I don't want to say it does enough, but the use is too niche
yeah,
in my opinion.
I, I like the idea of parries for projectiles though. Like if they're gonna
Hmm.
keep parries
Yeah,
around,
I like that a
I
lot.
think it's
yeah. I
good
don't
for
think they'll change
projectiles.
that at all for Rivals too.
Hmm.
I think it will
So
change a bit though. Is like it'll change how defense is played a lot. Because shield is usually in platform fighters like a frame one option. Like Rivals
Yep.
doesn't have any of those currently. Like you
I
either
think the
have a
game
get off me
literally cannot
tool or
do
that's
frame
it.
one things.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, quickest option I believe nothing makes you
It's
intangible
like
frame one,
crouch.
right?
It's
Crouch
better
Crouch.
shine,
cancel.
I thought. Like
Like
frame two.
Yeah, shine is frame two.
shine as like an actual hitbox. Everyone could technically like crouch cancel. Crouch is like a frame one animation, but that's like it. But like
Hmm.
other than like a few specific moves that everyone kind of knows how to deal
I
with.
mean,
So like
like we're talking to the
yeah.
Elliana player. How fast is eject?
Eject. I think she is out of the mech on frame 4 and intangible 4 through 7.
All right,
I
so
thought it was like a frame two or something. No, not
no,
like
it's
frame
it's
two.
not that
That makes
crazy.
sense.
You got to be able to
Yeah.
cover it with Edalus Short Nair like every other recovery in the game.
But
Yeah.
the thing is like those intangibility frames are what catch people, right? Like
Right.
Hmm.
those 3 frames where you think you can hit her,
You can.
Yeah, absolutely.
you
Well, that's
can't.
that's
Yeah.
why I try to tech chase with icicles on the platform, and then you eject,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to chase this dumb snake who's falling through the air like a leaf. And you got an air dodge.
Yeah, and the
You get your
another
air
thing that
dodge
people don't
back.
know about
Forfeit.
Elliana is that she gets her air dodge back when she
Yeah,
FPs.
my
Yeah.
God.
I
Imagine
get why they did that, but like still.
Imagine
It's
if
kind
just
of
They do
imagine if
that
Edalus
too.
just got his
Mhm.
instead of think about this. Edalus, he gets his up B back. Oh, what if Edalus gets his fucking air dodge back after up air? It's like that shit. It's like, oh my god, you're insult to injury. Not only can
Yeah,
you
but as soon
fly
as
There's
I
not
around.
really any
say Rano
characters
should get
that
his double
Whoa,
jump back
crush
whoa.
for
air dodge.
tonguing bubble, then I'm the bad guy, right?
All I heard was bad guy.
Oh, I said Rano should get his double jump back when he tongues bubble or something like that. Or when he gets a successful tongue.
No,
If
I
you
think
ask me, Rhino's got one of the best recoveries in the game.
he does. It's insane. It's
It,
crazy. Here's the thing.
I've been made fun of this before for saying otherwise, so I'm going to tread very carefully. I think Rano does have a great recovery, but it's like a really high skill floor recovery. Like there's
Yes,
so much you need
true
to like
that.
react
That's
to,
true.
and like with wacky bubble placements and stuff like that. Because if you don't know that, mid-level Rhinos just get fucked.
Yep.
Like you can just fair F smash them like all the time. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
Hmm.
Like you're asking too much of a low level Rhino to recover the way like backpack or derived recovers.
I think the thing is that Reyna has very linear options, but
Mm-hmm.
the sheer number of angles that Rhino can send himself is pretty nice. He's got side B, he's got up B spike down. He can
Yeah.
stay in place. He can tongue to the wall and wall jump. He can tongue to the bubble and wall jump. He can dare off the bubble. Ugh.
Despite all of that, though, Eliana can still edge guard him.
Yeah,
Oh
Edless
yeah,
can
for sure.
too. I'm just so bad at it. All I have to do is do
Every
this,
character in the
and
game
it's like,
has like
bye,
a
Rano. See you later. See you next stock.
every
Yeah.
character has their one option that they can use to pretty consistently challenge Rano Bubble. Usually it's just like throwing out projectile or something or meeting on where he's going to tongue. So
Which
like
Yeah.
it's not
you
that
actually
bad.
need to
It's
do.
reactionary on the Rano's part. So
The best way to counter Rano, like tonguing his bubble back to stage, is you jump out there and you have him eat you, right?
yep.
You have him eat you, and then he puts you in a bubble, and then you go towards the bubble he just spawned, and when you fall out, you go into that bubble, and then they're
You don't
stuck.
even need to do that. If Rano doesn't have resources, if he tongues you in that situation, he's forced to burn a resource in order to either get to his other bubble or recover otherwise. So
Damn.
if he
So
doesn't have any resources and he's going for a bubble tongue like that and he gets caught by that, he's just dead.
Yeah.
Like he just drops.
so life advice
There's
for people
nothing
who
you can
want to
do
beat
there.
Rano: just jump in the mouth.
Yeah, just burn his resources and then as soon as he tries to do like his slower bubble stuff, like he just can't.
That's so sad. I feel so bad for
Mhm.
Rano.
Honestly, the harder thing to get used to, at least, because it's not like a hard concept to win, or is like using your bubble defensively, not as like a recovery tool, not putting it in places where you want it to like tongue, but you put it in like the top corner or something so that when you get to like the ledge, you get F smashed purposefully into your own bubble to survive, and so you can recover
Yes,
higher.
yeah, prime bubble placements. I think,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Know your bubble placements.
Rano has the best anti-killing device in the game. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
is.
and it's it's funny because someone explained this to me, I forget who, but like it's hard to balance Rano Bubble because if you balance it one way, then it's used offensively too much, and if you balance it the other way, it is used defensively too much.
Hey,
So it's a very
you know what I'll do?
difficult move to balance.
I'll cut the active frames in half, and then we'll see how I feel about it. That shit is
Yeah.
active for like 16 frames, and it stays at the end like this, and it's like, aha,
Mm-hmm.
you thought you could whiff punish me, but now you're taking 50%.
By the way, grounded down B has more unlock than aerial up B. So yeah, I don't know
Ugh.
why that's the balance change, but that's what it is.
Oh god. So, are there any secrets that the Elliana mains have been holding from us, or is everything out there?
My personal secret with Eliana is jumping while downstronging. Like there is an input you can do while you're downstronging. Right as the downstrong comes out, you can input a jump, and she actually floats up higher than when she normally does with downstrong.
Mm.
And it's a good mix up because you can either do it or you don't do it, and your opponent is not quite sure how high you're going to bounce from it.
Oh.
Um, so, because a lot of time, if you do it from the ground, if you downstrong like from the ground with Eliana and you don't do it, you're not going to land on a platform. But if you do it, um, you do land on the platform. But so there's a lot of mixing up with that. So usually what I'm doing is I'm setting up Steam under a platform so I can drop plat, push it somewhere. So because it's really fast, I can like drop plat fair and it pushes it straight at you. I can drop plat dare and it kind of yeets it on the ground towards you. Um, or I can just sit there and charge it completely and make a giant cloud. Now, that's countered by people walking up and parrying it. So you can mix that up by floating up a bit higher and placing it on top of the platform instead of under it. So it's just like a lot of the beginning of matches for me is just testing my opponent's like how
Matching
they
knowledge.
handle Steam. So I'll throw a Steam right in front of them, see how they handle it. If they can handle it, I'm going to be using Steam a lot more for the rest of the set. Otherwise, it's usually just like I run away, put Steam somewhere where they can't easily parry it, and I approach with Missile Nair.
Yeah, I know
It's
you
just a
do.
good skill to have, no matter like who you play. Is you know like your one character's thing or your one character's like scrub killer tactic. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna skill check you real quick. Can you deal with this? What's your answer to this? And then you go from there.
The funny thing about
yeah,
Edelus
and
is that Edelus is not actually a character. He's just like seven of those gut checks
Yeah.
wrapped into a bear. That's what he is.
It's
If
like, can you parry side B? Okay. Can
yeah,
you deal with dash attack?
okay, can you deal with Showed Hop Nair? Okay, can you deal with forward air?
Okay, you're starting to combo Atlas. He down Bs. What do you do?
yeah. That definitely that entry level skill check is just parrying icicles.
Mhm.
Honestly, Edelus is the best character at low level. He's just there's just no low there's just no low level technique that beats dash attack wave dash back. There's nothing you can
Yeah,
do. If you are a poor little baby Claren on their match, your silver one, you want to get into gold, and then you see the match start and you see a giant polar bear on the other side of the screen, you're gonna scream and die because there's nothing you can do. It's very sad.
yeah,
But of course, that comes with, towards as you get better with Edelus. As I'm not tooting my horn, but
As you get
I know
better
what the
with
character
anybody,
does.
really.
I have used the character effectively in the past. It just gets so hard because it gets to a point where your options are good, but your options have flaws. And
Yep.
I was talking
As with
about
every
this the
expert,
other
really.
day. It's that it's not about how fast or big your moves are, it's how good your move is in given situations. And unfortunately, a lot of characters just have tools that just beat Edalus in disadvantage, and there's not a whole lot he can do. Especially just off stage. Of course, I have, I can up air. That's
I find
that's the funniest
that's
one.
cool.
um, I've got armor up B, but once you exhaust like the fear that Edalus brings to the table, he just becomes a character that has one goal. And unfortunately, linearity does not work
yeah,
well with big body characters, especially when as we were discussing before, the no shields really hurts big
Yep.
bodies. Because I played DK in Melee and Project M. Shield
We're
feels
starting to see
so
that again
good.
with Hodan as well.
Going
Just
going
those
in going
entire
into Shield
concepts.
and not being able to be hit for once during a match feels so good as a big body character. And Elliana may get that by flying up in the air, or Crag may get that by having armor or
We
being in
landed down
pillar.
B with Crag.
Yes, or that. But when Edalus just has dash attack, it feels like I'm missing a wrench in my set. But it's not to say that my other wrenches aren't fucking stupid. But to limited edition, set of wrenches. I've got a giant hammer, but I have no little tiny hammer, and I need the little tiny hammer
We
to make
do
the character
have
work.
a question from Lua. It looks like our thing broke off again. So,
Your
Yeggy.
object because you have a special character in your Discord name.
Oh, yeah, that's how that works.
looks like
We'll
it's
fix
enough.
that eventually. So, do you have a favorite options when hover reversing, Yeggy?
Hover reversing. Hey Yeggy, why don't you explain what hover reversing is to those of you who don't know what
Um,
Eliana
Like
does?
me, I have no clue what that is.
so there is the first time Eliana hovers backwards, she actually hovers she has way more like air drift to the back than she does if she did it again, essentially.
Huh. Okay.
So there are times where you can hover reverse like with F strong to really just shoot yourself back. Um if I had to pick a favorite option for hover reversing, I mean, F strong is fun because you really shoot back far. But I kind of like fair. Ever since they changed fair and how the knockback works on it and where it sends people, just fading back with fair is really interesting because you can land it, and if they DI in, you combo. They DI out, you reset. But you can mix up by like hover reversing and floating the fair. That way, you're not landing with it essentially, and that has a few mix-ups with it because if you float the fair, you can air dodge upwards, land with nair. There's just a few more options you can do outside of that. But I mean, yeah, F strong backwards is really fun just because you just fly back and it's kind of like Palm's Fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just shoot backwards when you do
Are
it.
you able to edge cancel with that?
I don't try it personally. It's kind of hard to edge cancel with Elliana.
Yeah, I figured because I mean her given that it's Elliana, her aerial drift is probably fine when she's not in heat, right?
There's just certain things that you just can't edge cancel with.
Oh, I see. Okay,
On our chat just
yeah,
said Ellie can't edge cancel any of her strunks, so
that
I'll
sucks.
take
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. That's why I don't really try it.
I'll take your guys' words.
Probably why you can't
Yeah,
do
right.
it.
What about I've seen someone do the short hop like hover up strong and you kind of slide that way. You keep the aerial
Yeah,
momentum through the
Upstrong
hover.
does slide,
Okay.
but it doesn't slide off platforms. Like
No,
it
that's
doesn't
so
slide off
sad.
stage.
Imagine though. Imagine if that move had a flop hitbox on the bottom. Just spikes.
Like you turn up strong
Dude,
into
I
the
can't.
ground like a
Dude,
Hoden net.
imagine sending someone downward and then you explode mine and then you go
No, you
down
basically
and you
turn Ellie up
belly
strong
flop.
into like Arcane up air. Where
Exactly.
like her butt now has a spike hitbox on it.
Oh my god. More characters? I think more characters need spikes because characters need to die in this game. I see too
Yeah.
many characters living to 180%. I'm not having it anymore. I'm
They
not
talk
having it.
all the new characters have
All
spikes.
exactly,
Every
exactly.
character in
All
the
the new
game has a
characters.
spike.
I mean, here's the thing. Hodon's spike isn't the best, but he's got like 11 moves that kill off the side of the stage. Why don't characters? Here's the thing. It's so hard to balance between giving characters like 11 kill moves and then having them just not be able to kill. Like for example, like Crag, infamous for destroying everyone, but like you can avoid dying if you just kind of DI out on his combo starters. It's hard for him to kill unless he gets you
Yeah.
really
Why
fucking
does
up.
Olympia have 5 spikes anyway?
Why does Olympia have like 4 Crag fairs
Shout
in
out to
different
Rua.
They
He
really
directions?
gave
just
her
got
a lot of
banned in our
space.
chat for spamming that, for saying that in all caps.
Oh my god. See, I'm gonna put Nightbot in the corner, honestly. Nightbot's on
Alright.
timeout now.
All right, so we do have another question. This one's
Alright, spam
from
as much as you
Torque.
want. I killed Nightbot.
Yeah. Will Eliana ever win a super major? Do you think she has the capability to do it?
Do you think
That
she's
is a
too
good question, I
kinky?
think.
I do think she has the capability to do it, just because Eliana's punish game is just like if you were on point with it and you were playing neutral correctly in these matchups and you are just getting those kills like whenever you get them, like in a 20xx scenario, I think Eliana holds up with the top of the cast. So I do think she's capable of winning a super major, and like she's gotten close before, right? Like Sego has gotten
Yep.
pretty far with Eliana
I mean,
before.
Sego won the water major back in the day using Ellie in top 8. Would you count that, even though he used Serrano through basically all of pools?
I mean,
Eliana just always has this X factor, right? Like she
Mhm.
can just she gets
She-
an up.
Kills you
she
off
can
one
she
kill
can
you off
just
of
kill
it.
you. You can just die. It's
Yeah,
like,
you
here,
can just
L.
die at any point.
Have this, L, please. It's like whenever
And like that's a lot of mental damage too, right? Like
Mhm.
imagine like you have a lead on Eliana, and the next thing you know, like your stock is gone at 0, and then it's an even game all of a sudden, just within 30 seconds. It's just it's a lot to think about, and on top of like air dot or like parrying steam or like not getting hit by missile and like crouch canceling missile, it's just so many things to juggle on top of like don't get up tilted.
Yeah.
Oh my god, don't get
Oh,
up to
yeah. Pre-patch up tilt was basically just insane for that. Because, like, it wasn't just that it was a kill confirm. It's like, oh, you hit this move. You gave it to me for free. That means I'm in your head now because, like,
right.
you can't do shit about it. It's a free tilting tool.
I remember when everyone was complaining about Eliana's up tilt, and then Dan was like, "Okay, we have fixed Eliana's up tilt."
And they
And I
didn't do
went into
anything.
practice mode, and I up tilted and missile nared like first try, and I'm like, they didn't fix this
They
shit.
didn't do
It's
anything.
still the
So
same
what
as
did they do?
before. You just
They
can't do
changed
the
like the
dumb stuff with it.
knockback scaling or something when
Yeah.
you're in
I don't
heat,
understand what
or
they gave her
It's
more end
like
lag after she shoots you, but like it's still not enough because she can just do whatever she wants
she can
after.
still
yeah,
fly at me. Did they forget this character has no second jump?
it's like, oh, like now it's just a 50-50 of, oh, I'm just gonna fly after you. Do you have a way to get around me like trying to F smash you now, you know?
Right.
Like that's still just as scary.
But like the end, as someone clarified, the end lag scales with heat. Even with full overheat, she can still follow up with missile into whatever, and it's really hard. There you can DI it and live, but there are certain percentages and certain placements on the stage where if you are getting hit by overheat up tilt and you are not DIing in on this, you are going to die to it. And if you DI in, they're going to missile near you. It's just like there's so many scenarios where that happens and not scenarios where like I can DI this correctly and live. But yeah, generally when you get up tilted, you want to DI slightly out, but not all the way out because you'll just die from it. And you want to DI the missile hit out as well because if you DI it in, you're just gonna get nared.
I've been in that
Good to
situation
know.
where like you're on your way up to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna slight DI out now, and then I just get hit by a nair or something, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
goodbye. Or like I'll get hit
Yeah,
by
that's
like the
another
softest
thing.
up air into a nair, and it's like, it is fruitless. There's no point. But yeah,
Rivals has a lot of that type of stuff where it's like, oh, you need this like be aware of this super weird DI in order to get out of these really common kill confirms. Like you'll learn them eventually, but it's like it's very counterintuitive.
hmm
So like with Rano, it's like, oh
especially
yeah, by the
drift
way, you
DI.
should DI the fair spike down and in. Why would I hold down while I'm getting spiked? Exactly.
You're not that far off camera. I
It's
can see.
tobacco.
Oh yeah, whatever. Yeah, and this is tobacco use only.
Mhm.
All right. Anyway, so let's talk about more about your personal preferences with Eliana. Is there a favorite matchup you have?
If I had to pick a favorite matchup, um, I kind of like Zetter, just because like Zetter on stage is really oppressive, but if you get him off stage at all, it becomes just a little mini game, and you just gotta edge guard him. Like you set mine at the corner of the stage, and you fade a little bit back. You shoot the mine when they get to the corner. If they wave land back on stage, tech, you just forward tilt, and it's just a fun little edge guard mini game playing
hmm
against Zetter a lot of the time.
I feel like a lot of
Um,
characters do that to poor Zetterburn.
Yeah.
Poor guy
Just
does
rinse
just he
repeat
just
until
gets
he gets
edge guarded
his
so
waveland
hard.
shit.
What is he supposed to
I
do?
do like the Elliana Ditto. My favorite to do and my favorite thing to do in the Elliana Ditto is just overheat only. If because it's just the rawest way to play Eliana. Is
Honestly,
just
that
sitting
sounds
in
about right.
overheat and you just are blasting each other with
It's
down
like
strong,
it's
forward
like
strong.
Super Smash Land because you don't even have any special attacks. You're just going in raw. You got
Yeah.
aerials, tilts. You
Raw footsuits only.
got
It's funny if you up B with Eliana, you can actually side B left and right, and she kind of just like flips back and forth,
right, right.
and
Oh
it's a
yeah,
funny little
because like
snake dance.
special and lag reverses stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny.
that's cool.
Edalus can do funny stuff with special and leg reverse. I got a silly combo on Nexinus, whose birthday was the other day. Shout out to Nexinus. Um, where Edalus can icicles, and then he turns around with up B and does back air, and then I turn around again with the up B input and I do forward air up air, and that's really fucking silly and funny because sometimes the bear won't kill. Like I can go for another bear, but like why wouldn't I just send them to hell, right?
Yeah,
So B
Yeah.
Rhino
reverses
can
are
do something
hilarious.
similar with tongue and lag reverses as well. So you can get like
Tongue
some
and leg
really
reverse.
whack needle boost shit with it.
Does tongue have a cooldown?
A little bit
Ugh.
off the cooldown. It's enough that you can do like and lag tongue reverses. It's not that common because you can usually just do like needle reverses instead and be just fine. But it is there.
Cool, cool, cool. And which matchup do you hate playing, Yeggy? What's on the
Matchup that I
bottom?
hate the most is Maple.
Maple. Yeah,
The Maple
I've heard
Eliana
that
matchup
sucks.
is her worst matchup, easy, and it's just it feels so bad.
hmm
Um,
Is it just a big character, small character thing? It's just inevitable.
well, Elliana dies off the top a lot quicker than the sides, and a lot of what Maple does is killing you off the top. And then
Okay.
she has the mix up with Nair too. So it's just like you have to DI correctly, and even when you are DIing correctly, there's just there's that
Sometimes it just
50-50 that
doesn't
you can
work.
just die to.
Yeah.
And if you have a tether on you at any point, Maple can just like bear you to Fair. And Fair is so oppressive against Eliana off stage because Maple has enough like air drift to just chase you and Fair you and still get back to stage. And
Right.
at that point, you've already built so much heat. And if you're overheated, you're just done because she's just gonna Fair you back off stage, and you're stuck in overheat. You're gonna have to up B, and she just downstrongs you. It's like she can edge guard Eliana really well, and she's very oppressive on stage.
Okay,
It's
so we
just you have to parry Maple. You have to keep um, Maple away with steam and missile. You just can't let her get close to you, and you can't be on the ground ever. You just have to platform camp. Um,
yeah, I
I
mean,
played Hoppy a
of
lot.
course you got a
Hoppy's got a
platform
great
cam.
Maple. I've played JCL's Maple a ton. I've played uh what other Maples have I played? I've played LP a lot. It's a tough matchup, man.
So we got one more question in chat here, and after this, I'm gonna prompt everyone to go and ask a question in the viewer question section of the Discord. Thoughts on Big Missile versus Rocket Fist?
Uh Big Missile and Rocket Fist are great edgeguard tools. I think Rocket Fist is an interesting mix-up option because there's a lot of times where characters are just waiting for you to land and are just going to up tilt you, right? Because you're a lot of Elianas just land with aerials. So if you have a disjointed up tilt like Zetterburn or Clarin or Shovel Knight that have kind of longer end lags, you can mix up your landing by not landing with an aerial and just rocket fisting where they're going to up tilt. And that can lead to like overheat up strong, overheat F strong, and it can kill someone at like 60 or 70 if they're not ready for it. So I think it's a really fun mix up to Rocket Fist. I know some people are going to pick up on that and they will just parry the Rocket Fist, but I think it's worth trying at least once or twice in the set because the reward usually outweighs the risk. I mean, most of the time, if you're at like 40% and you get they parry the Rocket Fist, that's fine, whatever. If it's not a character like Atlas where they're going to
Ha
put
ha
you
ha
off
ha.
stage and edge guard you.
Ha ha ha.
Um,
Oopsies. There goes my
but
camera again.
Rocket Fist is really great against some characters like Clarin. If they're recovering back to stage, full charge missile at the ledge is really good against them. Zetterburn, if they have to recover horizontally at all, big missile is really good for that. Um, I think big missile has its uses. I sometimes even will, if I'm coming back to stage, I will like wall jump full charge big missile because it breaks through projectiles. So if my opponent is just kind of throwing projectiles at the ledge and looking for something, I'll do the big missile because it just eats all of those, and then I get back on stage for free if they get hit by it.
That seems to be
Uh,
like a general thing a lot of characters can do. If you have like a charged projectile, so like you can
yeah.
use like multiple projectiles to
Oh, my
cover
camera
yourself
broke
safely.
again.
Honestly,
It
just
did.
wall jump missile onto stage is such a good recovery tool because you can charge it for the mix up, you can not charge it and just hit your opponent with it, and like touch ground at least, so you can get like air dodge back or whatever. If you hit it and they're not DIing correctly, you can confirm Nair or Fair. And it's really fast too, because usually you have like that wall jump animation, but if you wall jump and instantly turn around rocket, you're riding along the wall, essentially. So it's a good mix-up tool. I think it's great for recovering. Um, don't use Rocket Fist off stage to get back on stage. Use it as an edge guard tool to mix up. I don't think Rocket Fist has any uses for recovering, unfortunately. Um, but I like Rocket Fist. I think it has a lot of good uses, and I don't think Eliana's really use it enough. It's
No.
like a lot of Elianas want to use the missile, but I think Rocket Fist has a lot of good confirms, and it's definitely netted me a ton of kills. Just like Clarence who throw up tilt out, it hits under the platform too. So if they're sitting under a platform and they're throwing up tilts, you throw Rocket Fist right at that platform, it's gonna hit them even under it.
Wow. It's a pretty big hitbox, right?
It has a pretty big hitbox too, yeah.
All right.
Uh, Now that does vary with some stages, like ethereal gates because those platforms are slightly higher.
Mhm.
But any of the base starter stages, like it's going to hit under that platform.
Slick. All right, I'm going to put out just over the waves, just a suggestion. If you guys want to sneak into the Discord, pop a few viewer questions. The show is winding down. So just preemptively, I want to thank Yeggy for coming on out. It's been a little while since we've had a WROA show, and I was glad to have you pop in. So thank you for coming on, taking the evening off to chat about some Eliana. It's much appreciated.
I like talking about Elliana because I've been playing this character since she's released. Essentially, I just
Yeah.
remember when she was released, I was like, okay, this character is really weird, but I'm gonna sit down and I'm just gonna work on it and figure it out. And I'm kind of happy I did because I just feel like I don't really feel the same way I feel with her with the other characters. It's just there's a lot of creativity with her, and you can see that in other Elianas that play. It's like you can look at someone's Eliana and it's like, wow, they're playing in a completely different way than anything I could have imagined. And I think there's lots of like, there's cool Elianas to see, like Halite, there was Ragu. They were both kind of known for all of their rocket stuff. Halite, I mean, was just good at everything essentially, but ideally, him and Ragu had these crazy rocket setups. And that's really cool. I don't really do those kind of rocket setups. I mostly just am like
Dude,
aerial punish game.
rocket setups are
I go
crazy.
for landing dare, landing fair, and I push
Dude,
those.
every time you land on me with dare, it makes me want to quit this game and never play again. I love you though.
um, there's some Elianas that I've seen that are playing strictly defensive. They set up walls of steam. They just shoot missile at you,
Oh
and they wait
yeah.
for you to do some dumb option, right?
Shout out to
And that's a completely valid way to play. I mean, she's built for that.
I can't
Shout out
recall
Smash
who
Guy
played
who's in the
against it.
chat.
Yeah, yeah. Was Smash Guy, if I recall, were they the person who faced against Sloppy Jalopy in the RC #3? No, it was the RAS #3 anniversary, and he had the grueling gauntlet of Elliana and her
Yeah.
amazing keep out tools.
I feel like
Ah,
we all had to go through an Ellie gauntlet at some point.
right. All right,
There was
we
a time in RAS and RRC where there was just like a couple Ellies that were
Yep.
getting the hang of it and on the come up. I think it
Yeah.
was just like a coincidence, honestly. I don't think there was like an Eliana renaissance or something where everyone started to realize how broken she was. I think it was just like a couple people started learning Eliana. She kind of has a decently high skill floor. Um,
Yeah. That was my bracket when I first played through like intermediate when RRC still did that. It was just top 8 full of Elianas.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember the throughout last year, me and a couple of the boys, there was a Edalist generation running
Yep.
through RC and RAS. If I recall, it was myself, a couple of people who don't play anymore. If I recall, it was myself, Slappy Jalopy, No Thigh, Gucci Gaming Socks was also there, and I'm forgetting Unoptimal. We were all in RAS, or we were all in RC main and lower RAS at the same time, and it was funny because you would see RC every week would be at least 2 to 3 Edalistas in the top 8, but never in the top spot.
Mhm.
All right, we got
Yeah.
a couple more viewer questions. Another one kind of aimed around Eliana. Is there anything like quirky about Eliana that you like tech-wise that you want to look into? Anything? Is there? Do you think we're gonna discover anything new about her in the next, say, year or two?
I definitely think there are situations where up B could be shortened even more. Uh, because like Eliana can shorten up B and waveland down onto any platform, and there's no like time where she's kind of floating, right? Like she up B's and then air dodges straight down, and she's already rebuilding on the platform. Um, but I feel like that's really, really hard to do, and there's not really a consistent way of doing that. There's like you can do it and you shorten it and you air dodge down, but there's like that small window where she's kind of floating above the platform, then rebuilding.
Oh
But
yeah.
there are also scenarios where she can upbeat, shorten it, air dodge down, and she's already rebuilding on the platform.
Hmm.
um, and that's not like based on platform height because I've done it on Tower of Heaven, but I can't consistently do it. It's just like I don't, it's hard to do. You have to like just like keep mashing air dodge down as you shorten it.
It's
Okay.
mashing is nothing
So
I have a
just like,
problem with. So
yeah. Do
So
you
I
think Ellie
definitely
will
think
be in Rivals 2?
that can be
yeah,
developed a bit.
yeah.
Up
Do you think
debating.
Ellie's gonna come back for Rivals 2?
What was that?
Do you think she's gonna come back for Rivals 2?
I kind of hope so, but
Ooh,
I kind of see a reality where she isn't, just because it might be a little hard to implement her with shields. I feel like they'll have to completely rework Steam if they're going to have shields. Otherwise, there'll be situations where you're stuck in shield in the middle of a Steam cloud, and
um,
that's really weird.
well,
Um,
I'll tell you, so there is a solution to that. There is what Ultimate does. After you're hit 10 times on shield in rapid succession, you are guaranteed an invincible rolled out.
okay.
So,
Yeah, I mean, again, like it just depends on how
I
they
mean,
implement
there's also
shield.
like just parry,
Yeah.
but who knows how parries is gonna be.
Um, I just feel like they'll have to change a lot of what Eliana does
Right.
if they put her in
Well, I
Rivals
think,
2. But I also
well,
feel like why would they get rid of characters? They've already spent so much time creating the designs of these characters. They might
Right.
as well just try to keep them all in WROA 2. I can
right.
imagine getting rid of the guest characters like Shovel Knight and Ori
Yeah,
because
if
And
I
that's more
it's
recall,
due to
it
like
a
was like
copyright
contractual
strife.
thing.
that was like
Yeah.
a one-time thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're one-time guest stuff, and it's like, do we want to go through the copyright again for this niche indie title? Probably not. So,
All right. So we have one more question, and then
I have a few more
Mr. Mutton
questions
has
actually.
sent us a clip. So we are gonna watch. We're gonna ask one more. Do you think we're heading towards a meta where you need to play two characters, or at least have a secondary to cover your bad matchups, or do you think there is one character that can do it all?
I think movement is so free in this game and like there's so much creativity in how you can play that I think you can solo main anybody and make it pretty far. I don't think we like yeah, dual maining secondaries it could be good in a sense that like you can change up how the set feels for your opponent in a second or in a game. But also I feel like having a dual main or a secondary, you're having those situations where your opponent has to adapt how they play and you're playing a completely different character and have to relearn your opponent again with this character with like with a different character in game 2 where there's a lot more at stake at that point. I guess it depends on how you're duo maining, like if you're switching after you lose game 1 or you're switching after you win game 1. uh
That would be
but
badass.
there has
Imagine.
been
Yeah,
a lot of situations where I've lost game 1 and just like kind of thought about why I lost and made those changes in game 2 and just completely stomped. It's just like taking a second to realize why you lost and like what in particular is like the deciding factor in neutral, like what. And I see a lot of people where they're like they lose their first two stocks, their opponent has three and they just like SD. Like no, take your time on that last stock and figure out what your opponent is doing to take those first two stocks. It's just like
exactly.
such a waste of time that you could be using to like just get an idea of what you have to do in the second game. It's I don't know. I think it's tough when you're duo maining because you could lose game 1 and you think about why you lost, and that could not apply game 2 because your character might play that differently. Essentially,
Yeah.
um, a lot of the
Like,
times it's just like someone is doing like you're doing a mix up that you probably shouldn't be doing in that situation, and you should just be avoiding it altogether. Because a lot of people they go into this autopilot where they want to play a certain way and they know their mix ups and they know their options, but there's a lot of times where you doing that option and putting yourself in that like that tree scenario where you have like these two options now instead of just avoiding it altogether. Is not something people sometimes think about. Because like yeah, it'd be like, oh, I hit someone with down tilt, but they hit me back when I'm trying to hit them. It's just like, well, don't do the down tilt at all anymore. Just look for something else.
Right, dude.
Um,
I was one of my friends is in my Project Tim community in Pittsburgh. One of my friends, Vaporeon, is she's really good. I'm not gonna put it flat. She's really good. And one of the things she taught me is that you have to be able to do something different, and
mhm.
to be able to build up one game plan and then try to do something different is so hard to figure out when you are learning a game, right? Because it gets to the point where you're like,
It's
okay, I
hard to
have a
fight against autopilot.
yeah, also
Like,
that. It is hard to fight against someone who doesn't mix up. But on the other side of that coin, being able to win with one style and then switch to another style and adapt is like I'm just like looking over the hill on that. And it is so
mhm.
steep for me. Because Edalus, as a linear character does not help. But as a linear player, I am horrified about what I have to do. And
Yeah.
it's just something about like, oh, I was talking about it earlier, knowing versus reacting.
Yeah,
And
we've
you
talked about this on the podcast before, just kind of like
mhm
how everyone looks at like this autopilot, or just like you have to study the game enough, just kind of not playing it, where it's like, okay, you can just kind of switch between different game plans without thinking about it, not necessarily just like raw adaptations and skill,
mhm
Like for a lot of linear characters, because like even it's like, oh, it's the obvious game plan, not like the only game plan, basically. So it's like, yeah, Atlas is played in like, yeah, dash attack icicle, stuff like that. That's like, you can also just kind of hang back and just do whatever.
yeah,
Like,
waiting is frame zero. It is the
Yep.
fastest option in the
Doing nothing
game.
is frame 0.
waiting is frame zero, but me running up and hitting you is faster than that.
All right, so Mr. Mutton has sent in a clip, so I am going to
I'm
have
gonna
to.
watch it now.
All right,
See
I'm
if
gonna
we should get
you
it on
you watch it.
stream.
Reserve your judgment, and then I'll play it for the stream. All right. Save your judgment. I'm copying the link. All right, and then we go to blah blah blah. So I saw. The only thing I saw is that it was an Elliana Ditto, and I can't imagine. All right, and
Yeah,
then.
Eliana Dittos are
How's the
insane.
chance
It's just
now?
like who can zero to
We could
death the other
totally bring this
person.
back.
She's
All right,
probably the best matchup against herself.
Hey,
The
Ronald's
the
the same
biggest
way.
enemy is yourself.
Oh no, no, I
The only
understand.
difference is
Don't worry,
that every
guys.
Ronald player
Technical
hates
errors
the
only
difference,
last
though.
for as long as they last. See, look,
Yeah.
there's part of it. There we go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we all just kind of crashed a little bit, but we're all back.
All right,
We're
we're good.
good.
Neutral. Oh yeah, there. Oh no, caught the jump.
Let's give this some commentary. We got an up tilt.
What?
Oh,
You
Oh
let it be
my
you. You let it be you.
sad.
Wait, this was game 5? No way.
Game fucking 5. Let's go.
Disgusting. All right, so here's a lesson in hubris, kids. All right, guys.
That's such a risky upbeat to do too. But I
Mhm.
guess you're kind of like dead if you don't do anything, right? Because you're getting Eliana up tilt comboed.
Mhm.
Um,
Everything is a good option at that point.
Yeah. How much of that do you think was I'm just gonna mash up B every time I'm in disadvantage versus I'm gonna just do quick little skill check? How much of that do you think like
I think it is a little bit of a skill check because that junk works on Raster too. When Raster's like comboing you with up air, forward air, and he's getting ready for that neutral B to carry you to the top.
it's like
That's
how
when
ready are you for the combo breaker?
I mean, you can kind of just spam it, right? Like, if that's what you're looking for,
Dude,
you want to get it out.
Let me tell you.
How ready
Between
are you
10.
for him to spam
Now,
it,
guys,
you know?
think about this. Imagine if you had eject, but it was frame 2 and you didn't even move. And that's what Edalus armor is. And if you think I'm not spamming the shit out of my frame 2 armor move and disadvantage, then you are dead wrong.
Yeah, that's just rivals fundies at that point. It's like, do you have a game plan where you're ready to catch people mashing out of disadvantage?
Absolutely
What are you doing
not.
for that?
Nope.
Because if not, you're just going to get rubber bared and you're going to complain on Twitter and everyone's going to agree with you, or you're going to get Elli up or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
Like, that's just the game. Like,
The real answer to mashers is to just you get your confirmed combo and then you back the front up.
yeah.
Like you back that bus up, you reset neutral, you wait for them to whiff again, and it's just you go little by little until you're like 80% up, and then you can do something risky.
Yeah, that's a thing I see a lot in Rhino players too. Is I'm still kind of working on this myself. It's like they'll do like these huge like 10, 20 hit combos, but then they'll end off the combo like really badly where it's like really close, or they'll just hit like a sweet spot bear, but the bear isn't facing the right way, so they just send him back towards center stage and they eat the next hit that's coming in. Because it's like, what are you doing in your own combos that's either not airtight or you're not considering positioning at all?
I icicle too
Like,
much.
yeah.
I know that's what it is. Well, my favorite quote from Cake Assault, he goes to college in Pittsburgh. So we were at a local one day, and this was before the pandemic. It was probably the first local I was playing Edalus, and he's like, "Okay, this is lesson one: learn how to use icicles, and then never use icicles again. Never use icicles again." And I didn't understand what he meant. And I'm like, "What do you mean? Icicles are so good." And now looking back, I'm like, God, I should have weaned off that bottle long ago.
Yeah. That's a
The
really
thing
great
is, like,
fighting
when you
advantage.
land icicles, it's really good until you get parried,
Yep.
and it's
Yeah.
sad.
And then I get
So
I
you want to like really limit those situations when you're gonna icicle somebody to those points where you know that even if they parry it, you can slide off a platform in that time, or they're just gonna get hit by it because they're in the air and they can't parry it,
Yep.
unless you're Clarin and you're privileged.
Yeah, he's just down B. Yeah, that same concept applies to Rano Tong, where it's like, okay, if you want to get better at Rano, make it a goal for yourself where as soon as you side B, you automatically lose the game. Doesn't matter if you're up, doesn't matter. Like if you side B, you lose. Like, and then just play like that all the time.
I honestly, that's not a bad idea.
Exactly. It's like,
If I ever like jump inside B, and even if they don't pair, if it's like a horrible one, ugh. I was playing with NCB one day, and for those of you who don't know, NCB is probably one of the schnicest Edalist players of all time.
yeah, we love
He
Nestor Fanboy
was
here.
he was placing his icicles so well. It was just so absurd to me that I would get hit by them, and then when I tried to parry them, they would miss. And, and it was this big like thing over my head for such a long time. I'm getting a grasp of it now, but it's just so funny thinking back.
Parrying icicles on Merchant Port is so hard
Oh
because
my
like
god!
you're
It's
not
so
quite sure when the icicle is
The
gonna go
platform
between.
layout is so fucking weird. Sorry, that was my alarm.
I
don't know
have
if you guys hear
definitely
that.
taken advantage of that before. There's a difference between angel platform icicles and hold right for half a second angel platform icicles on Merchant Port, because like one of them will hit the far right or the middle right platform, and then maybe they won't, and one of them hits like the corner, and it's so funny just seeing someone whiff a parry and the icicle's like right in front of them, and I'm like, wow, this was definitely calculated. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a mathematician. My thesis is on icicles.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like Elliana will kind of fly under the radar, no pun intended, for these 4 new characters coming out.
Oh yeah, is there
Um,
anything is there anything that's happening in Ohio at any point in the future that you may want to tell people to go to?
Cost
Oh my
2022 is
God, Cost
happening,
2022. We don't have a
which is at a
link.
COSI. If you don't know what a COSI is, it is a science like facility slash enter. What do we even call that? Like it's a
Oh, you
science
mean like,
facility.
yeah, it's like there's a Pittsburgh Science Center. I know exactly what you
Like
mean.
a
Yeah,
science museum or something like that?
Yes, yes,
Like,
kinda. It's like more
like a,
interactive though and fun.
yes. Oh my gosh, I used to go to
yeah,
those as
okay,
a
I get what
kid.
you mean. So like a kid's science museum or something where it's like you can
Yeah.
play with all the exhibits or something, right?
It's so
That's
cool.
happening in Columbus. So if you are on the east side of Ohio, or on the east side of Ohio, that would be that would be the west. Sorry, yeah, never eat slimy worms. West side,
Oh my god, you
west
just
side of
transported me
Ohio.
back to elementary school, man. If the science thing didn't already before, you know?
All right,
Um,
everybody, go look up Cost 2022.
that'll
Um,
be my last Rivals event for WROA 1.
for
Probably
Rivals 1.
after that,
Yeah,
I'm
dude, I
gonna be
can't tell you the
moving
last
on.
time. I can't tell you the last time I entered anything.
Yeah, same. It's kind of freeing in a
All
way,
right.
though. It's really.
Anyway, everyone go see Yeggy's final performance at Cost 2022. We'll have a link at some point in the future. Again, I want to thank our special handsome guest Yeggy for coming out, taking the time, spending an evening talking about this character with us, the WRA crew. Follow Yeggy on Twitter at YeggyBomb. It's on the layout. Go follow him. I'm Leo Luster at LeoLuster01 on Twitter. And my co-host Frig is the Frigomaniac. So thank you guys for coming out and watching.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
I'm not sure when the next podcast will be. Hopefully we have another one soon.
Yeah.
Join the Discord. Frig, if you wouldn't mind posting the Discord link again, that would be awesome.
Yeah, nice.
Peace out,
And we'll
guys.
Hey.
Catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.